Hey guys, welcome back, it's me Epic's What If, and today we've got episode 2 to What If Naruto Had Abandoned the Hidden Leaf Village. More like, what if the Hidden Leaf had kicked Naruto out, but similar premises. Now, why was Naruto kicked out of the village? In case you didn't see the first episode, Naruto was kicked out because the Hidden Leaf, or rather the elders, believed Naruto was too unstable to be allowed in the village, as his antics, or rather him trying to defend Sasuke, did cause him to lose control, which did injure Sasuke and Kakashi a bit more, which was obviously reported to them by Sakura as well when asked how Kakashi and Sasuke got these wounds. After which Naruto was kicked out of the village. Not everyone was happy about this, obviously. The Rookie 11 were not really that happy to see Naruto go, who had, well, grown a bit fond of him, and of course Sasuke was distraught. Or rather very sad, just very sad, alright. Now, after Naruto was forced to leave the village, Jiraiya was informed about the decisions that the elders made by Kakashi. Now, Kakashi was loyal to Jiraiya more than he was to the elders, so obviously he did inform him. Jiraiya, within 5 to 10 hours of Naruto leaving the village, arrives inside of the village in a very, very bad mood, and I mean a very bad mood. Jiraiya goes straight to the elders, calling them out on the fucking shit decision that they had made to kick a 12-year-old child outside of the village because they thought he could not be controlled. The elders defended themselves by claiming that Naruto was a threat to the safety of everyone in the village and to his own team, which was actually the reason they decided to kick him out. Jiraiya yells out in anger, not being able to take the utter garbage that was spewing out of their mouths. "How dare you kick Naruto out of the village after all Minato had done for this stupid place? The man died in hopes that his child would be revered by the village as a hero. You both kick him out like he was some common criminal. How dare you?" Now, the elders did in fact defend themselves even more and were a bit shocked at Jiraiya's comment, replying to him saying the 4th Hokage died for the village, and he would have supported us in our decision to kick Naruto out of the village for the greater good. I don't care what you have to say, Jiraiya. You can't let your feelings get in front of this. What we made was the right decision. I don't care what you think of us for that. We made the decision for the good of the village, and we will stick to it. Jiraiya was very angered by this statement that they made this for the good of the village, simply claiming that they decided to kick a 12-year-old child whose parents died protecting the village, whose father was the 4th Hokage, who had hoped to see the boy be praised for the sacrifice he had to make. The boy was to be seen as a hero, Minato thought, and, well, now he has no hope, so I guess things didn't go according to plan. Jiraiya, after this little talk with the elders, stormed out of the village in anger, claiming he was never going to return to the village, as for the first time in his life he could see why Orochimaru and Tsunade had decided to leave. He finally saw what the other Sannin did years ago, that this village really didn't deserve their time. Not anymore. Now, in this statement, I am changing a few things already. Orochimaru was not necessarily kicked out of the village in my scenario. He decided to leave, mostly for his science experiments, but also because he felt the village was a doomed cause. The decisions made by the elders were always just not correct. He never felt that they actually did things for the good of the village, moreover for selfish reasons. Tsunade left because the village reminded her too much of her dead family. Her entire clan, for some reason, is non-existent. I don't know what happened. The Senju clan just disappeared. And Jiraiya, finally seeing the elders for what they were, senile old people who didn't know how to rule, decided to leave the village as well. After leaving the village, he did contact somebody to take care of Naruto for a few months, because he felt Naruto was not quite ready to realize a few things. He did want to spend more time with the boy. After what happened, he really did, but he felt it was not the correct time. Now, outside of the village, Naruto was ambushed by a few, well, bandits, let's say. You know, you see a small child with a gigantic bag, you decided to loot him. It's simple as that. Naruto was decently trained, but even he couldn't take on 7 bandits who had decided to launch an attack on him. The bandits yelled out to Naruto, just asking for his money and all the shit that he had on him, at which point all 7 of them fell to the ground, clutching their stomachs. Naruto did not see what actually happened, but he did feel that somebody was behind him. Naruto jumps back about 10 feet and looks behind him to see a man in an assassin robe. You'll see what I mean. This man could clearly see the fear in Naruto's eyes. Naruto was very, very afraid of this person. And well, he simply raises his hood and smiles at Naruto, saying, "No need to worry, Naruto. It's really not big. You are Naruto, right? Sorry, I've never really seen you. My, you've grown big." Now, Naruto was confused at who this person was, and why he was acting so friendly towards him. Naruto did somewhat lower his guard, but still cautious asked who he was, and the man replied with, "I would be Axiom, kid. I mean, you are Naruto, right? Of course you are. Come on, look at that hair. That hair and those eyes, unmistakable. You're definitely your father's son." "Wait, how do you know my father?" Naruto was obviously confused and decided to ask him that. Axiom said, "Well, I used to be on the same team as your father. But enough about me, kid. What are you doing outside the village? You do know this is no place for a child, right?" Naruto, with a sad look in his eyes, simply replies that they decided to kick him out. They thought he was too dangerous for the village and that he would only harm everyone around him. So they felt it was best for him to not be a part of the village anymore. And for a split second, Naruto thought he saw a glint of anger in Axiom's eyes, which was quickly washed over with. "So you need a home to stay then?" "I have a home, if you would love to stay with me for a while. I'd love to repay the favor I owe your father. It would mean a lot to me, Naruto. I see you actually have a sword. I'm a swordsman myself. How about I train you for a while?" Naruto was happy at this and he decided to go with Axiom. Now these two are going to be training for a few years and eventually they'll meet up with Jiraiya, alright? Now back in the village, what is happening? Obviously, after Sasuke recovered from the hospital, Sakura decided to visit him while he was recovering. And Sasuke simply kicked her out. His simple reasonings were, "I don't deal with traitors." Sakura was a bit offended at this, and she couldn't actually understand where that came from. In her eyes, she did nothing wrong. She did say Naruto lost control, because he did. Well, while Naruto did leave, to her it was just one less burden to deal with. For now, Sakura decided it was only wise to leave Sasuke be, and she decided to walk outside to meet a few of her friends. Sakura came across Shikamaru and Choji, who simply ignored her and walked on. The same thing happened with Hinata, and oddly enough, quite a few members of the rookie squads decided to completely ignore Sakura. When she finally got a hold of Ino, she decided to ask her why everyone is behaving the way they are, and Ino simply replied, "You're a fucking dumbass, Sakura. Did you really expect no repercussions to come from you being the main reason Naruto had been kicked out of the village? I can't even speak to you right now. Like, what were you thinking, you dumbass?" Now Sakura did try to explain her train of thought, but Ino was having none of it and she left as well. At this point, Sakura did feel a bit isolated. "Serves you right!" Now moving on, Naruto trained for a few years. Obviously, I'm gonna skip a few years, sorry. After 2 years of training later, Naruto had in fact become a pretty good swordsman. He had learned the demon fighting style, I suppose, that's what I'm gonna call it. After 2 years of training, Naruto was finally ready to beat Jiraiya. Now he had heard about Jiraiya a lot from Axiom throughout the 2 years of training with him and living with him, and Axiom had grown to be a sort of father figure for Naruto. well, more of a big brother figure than father, but you know what I mean. Now, Axiom taught Naruto quite a few things. He taught Naruto a lot about some wind jutsu and fire jutsu because those were his main jutsus. And he also loosened Naruto's seal a bit so he had better chakra control. Naruto had overall grown as a fighter and a tactical thinker because of the teachings of Axiom. I am realizing not a lot of character has been given to Axiom, but 'tis how it is. Jiraiya and Naruto do have a similar meeting as they did in the original. Almost, well, I mean similar meaning Jiraiya appeared in front of Naruto on a gigantic frog. That's as similar as it's gonna get. Now, Jiraiya and Naruto do have a bit of a conversation. Naruto finally being excited that he finally gets to meet the legendary Jiraiya he had heard so much about, and Jiraiya just happy that his godson has grown quite big, actually. If only the village had kept you. Now, Naruto, after meeting Jiraiya, does have a close bond with him as well, because Jiraiya, being Jiraiya, makes friends easy, you know? He's a fun person to hang around. After the meeting with Jiraiya goes down, Jiraiya teaches Naruto a few things while under his tutelage. Axiom decides it's about time Naruto leaves his training and Axiom goes his own way. Naruto is obviously saddened by this, that another person that he really looked up to has decided to leave him alone. Axiom simply replies with, "It's not goodbye, kid. This is only, I'd say it's a see you later. I have my own work. I have my own duties to take care of, alright? I'll see you around soon enough. Worry not. I made a promise to your father, and I'm gonna keep that promise, alright?" Now, after that somber goodbye with Axiom Kaiba, who didn't really have much screen time, Naruto and Jiraiya go on their own training around the villages. About 5 months into their training, Jiraiya receives word that the Chunin exams are to be held very soon enough. Well, Jiraiya thinks it would be wise for Naruto to have a certain rank, but Naruto is not part of any village, so they have to think about that for a while. Now, throughout Naruto's travels with Axiom and of course with Jiraiya as well, he had heard about a village that that belonged to the Uzumaki clan, a village hidden in the waterfalls. He had a general direction of where the village might have been. He doesn't necessarily know what happened to it, but he hopes he could find some people who might be willing to take him in. After all, he is an Uzumaki. Naruto asks permission from Jiraiya, who allows him to have a travel of his own, because Jiraiya believes in the, hermitish lifestyle. Jiraiya goes out to gather some more information on a growing rogue ninja group that might cause some problems later on, and Naruto goes to find this village that he's heard about. Naruto eventually comes across a village that is in the general possession where the village of the Uzumakis was supposed to be. Now, this place was more or less just a ruin at this point. The houses were all collapsed. Now, these were big houses, like straight up buildings, but all of them were collapsed. Now, he guesses that there might have been a war around here, which is probably the reason that the houses have all been destroyed, and he fears that he might not find anybody else here. Naruto decides to enter the village. Upon entering, he does feel that there is somebody around him, somebody that's, keeping an eye on him, let's say. Naruto works further and further in the village, trying to find where their library or any place with some scrolls to find out more about the Uzumaki clan, I mean. You know, when you're in Rome, I suppose. Now, Naruto realizes there's somebody who's been following his every movement for the past few moments now, and he's ready for the attack that might be launched on him. It is at this moment that a red figure decides to jump Naruto when, that person thought that Naruto was off guard. Naruto quickly disappears from in front of that person, appears behind them with a sword pulled straight to their throat, and asks calmly, "Now, what on earth are you thinking about doing? You really don't think you could have caught me with that move, did you?" Now, this person launches a punch straight at Naruto with more of an elbow jab towards Naruto. Naruto jumps out of the way. Now, both of them are in a battle stance, and he does notice that this person has really long red hair. Uzumaki, perhaps? You never know. Naruto launches the first attack using a Gale Palm to get this person off guard, which is easily blocked somehow by the person simply raising their hand, and the Gale Palm gets absorbed into their gloves. Naruto quickly puts two and two together and figures that there is some kind of seal on the gloves that is taking up the chakra that Naruto is releasing from this Gale Palm. Naruto quickly jumps up behind the person again, hoping to use physical strength, which doesn't necessarily work. Naruto gets punched in the gut this time. That person was ready for it. Naruto, now thinking, okay, shit, I might actually have to do something now, decides to use the multi-shadow clone jutsu, popping out about 50 shadow clones at the same time, hoping numbers get the advantage. It is at this moment that this person immediately realizes they have no chance of beating him, simply opting to surrender. Naruto accepts the surrender obviously, because he does not sense any ill intent from this person. He simply asks, now who are you and what on earth were you seeking to do with me? Now this person in front of Naruto reveals that her name is in fact Riem. And Riem is an Uzumaki. I don't know where Riem the name came from, so don't ask me. As for her reasons to attack Naruto, it was simple. Naruto had invaded her home, and she was just defending it, as she put it. Naruto then reveals that he too is an Uzumaki, though he doesn't actually look the part. Now Riem does not actually believe him at first, but then Naruto simply says, what reason would I have to lie to you? There's like literally no reason. I could kill you if I wished, but I won't. Now, I need some help. Do you know where the Uzumakis are? Like, I was kinda hoping they had a village here. I really have no other place to go right now. Riem reveals to Naruto that the Uzumakis were in fact wiped out completely in a war about 20 years ago. Sad. And well, they're kinda the last Uzumakis around. She also reveals that there are about 5 people in the village living there already. Now these were people who had defected from the Cloud Village and the Sand Village, who, well, felt they didn't belong there. Naruto, after hearing this, gets an idea. Why not start their own village? Why not live here? And well, he does need a village in order to become a Chunin, because you kinda need that shit. They could start their own. Why not? How hard could it be? Riem thinks this is a mad fucking idea, but why not give it a try, I suppose. Naruto does seem like a nice guy. He wouldn't betray them. Let's give it a try. Riem takes Naruto to meet the other 5 people. They're not important right now. They may be important later on. You never know. Naruto then decides to start a recruitment process for the village, because they're gonna need numbers, they're gonna need workers, they're gonna need people. Now the recruitment is very simple. Anybody who has defected from other villages is welcome to stay here. Anybody who feels they're unhappy with other villages are welcome to stay here too. They mostly use the resources already available in the broken down village. Old components from the buildings that were knocked down, houses that were knocked down, resources, any resources that they can find. They also find that there is in fact a mine on the outskirts of the village, which does technically fall into their own property line, so they decide to use the mine for resources as well, for, you know, future trades, I suppose. Within the span of a few months, about 70 to 80 people have already joined up Naruto and the others in this little village of theirs, hidden behind a few waterfalls, pretty secluded area. Now these are people who had mostly defected from the sound, the leaf, the wind, the cloud, the stone, and all the other villages there are. Now after the few months that they've already spent there, they decide to start a few things up early. They need farms for food, they need the mines running for operations and trades, and they actually need to elect a head for the village. Now, Naruto is obviously the top contender for this position because he was the one who suggested the idea to make the village. Naruto feels it would be unwise to keep such a young person as a leader of the village right now, and Naruto honestly feels he is not ready to accept the position. So he gives the position to someone familiar, and a certain Axiom Kaiba, who had finally joined up with Naruto after hearing about what Naruto was doing. Naruto decides to make Axiom the Hokage, and well, Axiom is a pretty wise man, much older than Naruto and was Naruto's teacher for a while. Axiom accepts the position for now, but he will not be staying in the position for long, mostly just keeping it company, I suppose, until Naruto becomes of age, or rather mature enough. Now the village is obviously ready to apply for the Chunin exam, and they do in fact contact the other villages, telling them that there is a new village on the rise. Now the Sound village just popped out of nowhere and was accepted as a village, so why not this one, alright? Now the village in the whirlpools was already accepted, or waterfall I think, was already accepted as a trade partner by the Sand and the Cloud villages because, you know, they supplied them with iron ore and some other ores, and food and some other resources as well. Now the Cloud village had already had a conversation with the leader of the Whirlpool village, I suppose I'm going to call it for now, who was in fact Axiom, and the Raikage did know of Axiom. He does remember Axiom from the war days, as Axiom was in fact part of the assault squad that Minato had led against the Cloud village. Now, the Raikage did have a certain amount of respect for Axiom, as both of them did share some war stories, I suppose, even though they fought on opposing sides. The Cloud village, the Raikage respected him enough to consider him a equal partner, and in his eyes they were in fact a village of their own, though they didn't have as many people. But 80 ninjas, pretty fair, alright? They were grown villages. Now the Kazekage from the Sand also accepted them as a fair trade partners because they did need the resources that the Whirlpool village was supplying. Now the Kazekage is not Gaara right now. I've decided to shift everything a few years on so that the Rookie 11 get to do their Chunin exams alongside Naruto as well. So Gaara is going to be doing the Chunin exams this year as well, alright? I hope that makes sense. Now after all of that goes down, the Axiom has a meeting with the rest of the villagers to, well, essentially make sure that their claim is legitimate, and also have a meeting with the elders of the whole thing, the fucking Fire Lord. I don't know what his name was, but you remember the guy who was like the owner of all that shit, whatever. Anyway, and considering that the Whirlpool village used to be a separate village on their own before it was destroyed, it only makes sense that they allow it to be a village of their own again. Now they are also allowed to participate in the Chunin exams from this year onwards, and they are going to be sending a Chunin squad to get involved in it. I'm going to leave it at this one for now, and I'm going to be uploading the next episode within the next 3 days because we're quarantined as well. Now guys, stay safe, enjoy, and I'll see you in the next one. Oh yes, don't die from the coronavirus.